Hi everyone, my name is Kate and you're very welcome here on my channel where we talk about fragrances. Today I'm going to review the Legacy collection by Estee Lauder. So Estee Lauder decided to give a new life to 5 of the legendary fragrances, and of course this is a very serious and important operation, went under the guidance of the person who doesn't need an introduction, Frederic Malle, the famous fragrance editor, as we call him. Him and a team of perfumers decided to modernize and give a new take on some of the most famous fragrances by Estee Lauder from 20th century. All of the fragrances were launched somewhere in the 20th century. So yeah, that was very exciting. I took my time with these fragrances. I smelled them, I wore them. I fell in love with at least one of them, and I think 2, and I might need full bottles. So let's begin. Please don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy watching my videos, and stay with me for more videos. Let's explore this world of fragrances together. Okay, so first, just look at it. Just look how pretty this is. I don't know if the video focuses, but it's just so beautiful. I love the packaging. You know, guys, that I love the packaging when it's really pretty. So let's start with Azuree. I also wanted to mention, I feel like this kind of thing, the vintage fragrances, they become a new niche. Have you noticed that recently, over the last, let's say maybe 15 years, around that, the niche has just becoming not as niche. It has a lot of marketing, sometimes very aggressive. Niche used to be this access to something artisanal, to something experimental, to something that is not widely available. Now niche is kind of pushing through, is becoming a part of a designer market in a way. Some niche fragrances start launching the fragrance makeup line, I don't know. Byredo just launched the tea line, like tea, like drinking tea, not a fragrance. You can buy tea from Byredo, for example, which is beyond. So something like this, I think it's a new wave. Look at Balmain, who just also recreated their old fragrances, right? Now Estee Lauder, there's probably a couple others that I don't remember at the moment, but this is not surprising, at least as far as I see it. And I want to see where this road leads. You know, I'm curious. Okay, so Azuree. So this is a green chypre full of galbanum, oak moss, some leather. And I also smell a very strong big block of spices, especially cumin. I feel like cumin is just in the middle of everything. Cumin is the star in this fragrance. I can also catch some clove, maybe cinnamon, you know, something like this, but the cumin is the strongest and everything else is dancing around it. I wanted to mention that I am familiar with the originals, at least what they sell in the stores now. I haven't tried any of the vintage versions of these fragrances, you know, like really old ones. No, I don't have access to them, at least yet, but I'm familiar with the fragrances they sell now in the stores, and I completely understand why they wanted to change. They needed this change. They need this breath of fresh air. They needed to do something with it because the fragrances I tried, they might be beautiful, and I'm sure that there are a lot of fans and people who love them, but I don't know, hearing what the vintage collectors are saying, they really changed, right? So what they sell now might be very different from what the fragrance was initially. So I think this just makes so much sense that Frederic Malle took over on this process and they tried to get another life out of them. It makes so much sense to me. The same with Azuree. I tried Azuree, I didn't like it at all. Like I don't like what they sell now. I'm sure that the original was probably incredible, right? And it has its own fan base. But what I smelled before, this is better. This has more air. I could believe that this is a niche fragrance that I smelled somewhere in a niche perfume store, right? It's what I get a lot in these fragrances. I think it's pretty. You can tell that this was inspired by something vintage, you know, but I think it's beautiful. I like this one a lot. Maybe it's not the one that I would put as a full bottle on my shelf, but I like it. Let's talk, oh, and here we're talking about the one I would put on my shelf. So let's smell Estee. Very feminine fragrance. It starts with aldehydes and ylang-ylang. It almost smells like bubbles in a bathroom, you know, when you have a full bath with bubbles. And there's something so light and positive about this fragrance. I don't know, I start smiling when I smell it. In the base, I also smell a little bit more of something like Myrrh and Tonka, you know. It has this balsamic side, a very soft one. It's so beautiful. I'm just, oh, yes, this is beautiful. This is definitely, for me, a full bottle worthy. I don't know. It's a very Chanel style, by the way. If it was a blind testing or something, and somebody let me smell it and didn't tell me the name and the brand, I would say that this is something from Chanel, from a boutique line of Chanel, you know, in the same bottle, like tall bottles. Yeah, I definitely see that. A lot of aldehydes, a lot of cleanness, you know, it's a little bit soapy, but in the best way possible. There is a lot of charm to this fragrance. It's very charming. Let's talk about the private collection. This is an exclusive fragrance. Initially, it was the exclusive fragrance of Mrs. Lauder herself. She was using it. That's why it's called Private Collection. And this is an interesting one, at least for me. So when I smelled it for the first time, I thought that it reminded me of something really, really strongly, but I couldn't understand what it was. And then I started reading about this fragrance, and I saw that people mention Synthetic Jungle by Frederic Malle, and here it clicked. Yes, Frederic Malle definitely experimented with Synthetic Jungle, and as I think, I would agree with the people that he got inspiration in Private Collection and created Synthetic Jungle. We don't know that, but maybe he was making them, working on the formulas at the same time with perfumers. No idea. But yes, it's very bright green, almost neon color, you know, very, very bright when you cannot look at it. And I smell tomato leaf, basil. It's like, you know, you're in a garden with vegetables. Also something like tarragon and galbanum. It's very green. Everything green there. You know, this fragrance actually reminds me of the moment from Addams Family, when Morticia Addams was cutting the roses and she cut off the flower and put the stems in a vase, vase. So it's that moment, and this would smell incredible on Morticia Addams. Usually people try to choose something with roses for her, but now I understand it doesn't make sense because she likes the stems. She doesn't like the roses. Yeah. It's pretty cool, and I like this one a lot. I would think about a bottle. Again, vintage character. You can tell that it takes its beginning somewhere over there, but it still smells like a modern niche. It's great. Now let's move on to the fragrance that Frederic Malle himself called the most sexy from the line. I think he's a big fan of this one. It's Knowing. And I'm not a huge fan of the fragrance, at least now, like the original Knowing, the modern version of it, because again, I cannot speak for the vintage versions, right? But this one, they changed a lot because, you know, the original is this honey, yellow floral kind of cheaper. At least that's what I smell in it and how I remember it. Here, they took the rose and patchouli and they put it in the center. So this is a kind of a rose chypre with patchouli, more of a modern one. And it's everything. It's soapy, it's animalic, it's floral. There's everything about it. And it's beautiful. And for some reason, when I smelled it for the first time, I was shocked. You know, sometimes you're stunned by something and I don't understand where this emotion comes from. I don't know, you probably experienced something like this maybe with fragrances. And I could understand what I think about it, but it definitely gave me a lot of emotions. And I think it's beautiful, and I kind of prefer this over to what they sell now, honestly. I don't know, maybe this won't be popular opinion. You can yell at me in the comments. You can throw stuff at me in the comments. Not really. But I kind of prefer this. I don't know, maybe I would think about a full bottle, maybe not. Also, let's see. So I want to finish these little cute bottles first, and then we'll see. Although Estee is kind of a love at the first sight, at the first sniff. So maybe that one will end up in a big bottle. And the last one is white linen. Let's spray white linen now. Okay. That's so interesting, guys. I don't know what changed. The temperature, something changed. I smell it different now. So it's soapy. It's very clean. I also smell some lemon and lily of the valley, I think. And for some reason now, why I said it's different, I also smell salty sandalwood. I didn't smell it before. I don't know what happened. But yeah, there's sandalwood here, and it's a little bit salty. Not as salty as Santal 33. I'm not a big fan of that one, honestly. But there's something about it that I can smell it. It's so interesting because I fell in love with this one when I smelled it for the first time, and I even have a note that maybe I should have a full bottle, but now no. I feel like I don't want a full bottle. I'll try it again. I'll try and wear it and decide. It's so interesting. It's really different. Okay, guys, so what do you think? Have you tried this? What do you want to try from this line? I think they're spectacular. I cannot imagine the amount of work it took to recreate these 5, but I think they did a great job, and I personally loved it and hope that you enjoyed watching this video. See you soon. Bye bye.